this is the Panasonic S5 full frame mode, standard profile, contrast +1, saturation +1. How good is the video quality? I'm at 20mm. How good is the video quality? So yeah, this is the Panasonic S5 20mm. So I'm standing at my arm length to the lens. Okay, let me get closer. I'm standing at my, now I am touching the lens. Now I'm entirely touching the lens. So this is 20mm. I'm touching the lens. I just want to give you a 20-60mm overview, how you can use for a studio or for filming yourself. At 20mm I can easily touch myself, but let me increase it, isn't it? So right now we are at 22mm. This is the 22mm. Still I can touch. 22mm still I can touch. 24mm. Okay, 24mm. Let me get a little bit outer of the frame. Okay, so 20mm. If I wanna get my head in the frame, so at this point it will be harder to touch. 24mm I cannot touch. 28mm. Am I in the okay? It's cutting me. Okay, now it's better. I cannot touch anything now. I cannot touch. I love the 20-60mm just for the 20mm focal length. So versatile. Wow. And so this is the 28mm. I even have to bend down. Okay, and then let me go to the 35mm. Especially if you are thinking to use the Sigma f2. I mean, that lens is wow. I love it. I love Sigma 35mm f2. So this is the focal length you are going to get a Sigma 35mm f2. Okay, my head is cut off, right? I really have to move more far away. Okay, like this is better, right? 35mm f2. And then let me go to the 45mm, especially Sigma 45mm f2.8. So yeah, so right now I'm quite far away. So this is Sigma 45mm f2. Yeah, Sigma 45mm f2. So sorry, Sigma 45mm f2.8. I'm sorry, I want to apologize. Sigma 45mm f2.8, which is a cupcake lens. I really wish it was a pancake lens, but still it's a cupcake lens. The length is only 45mm. If I want to stand, I cannot stand. As you can see, it's going to cut my head. If I want to stand, I can sit like this. 45mm f2.8. Again, this is, I'm just giving you the idea which lens you will be using. You are going to get this kind of focal length. This again, I'm using it 20-60mm f3.5 to f5.6. But if you want to use the 45mm, this is you are going to get. Now 50mm. Now this is the 50mm. If when I use the Panasonic 50mm f1.8, this is you are going to get. I'm really far away right now. I'm really far away, as you can see. So for example, I can sit here also. I'm good enough, but let me sit here. I think 45mm, especially I love the new Nikon 40mm f2. I love lens which are 40 to 45mm. They can use for portrait, amazing bokeh. Also they can use for like this kind of vlogging. The field of view is quite wide compared to 50mm. So this is 50mm. For 45mm I can easily sit here, don't have to go far. So now let me go to 60mm. Especially we're thinking to get the 60mm. So this is the 60mm. So yeah, 60mm. So this is the 60mm. So if you're thinking to get the Sigma 65mm, let me do some math, because I'm going to switch into APS-C mode just to get a crop. My 20-60mm Panasonic 20-60mm I put into a 43mm. Yes, I put into a 43mm, but I have turned on the APS-C mode, so the lens will be around 65mm. So this is the field of view you are going to get with the Sigma 65mm f2. Yeah, f2. So this is the field of view you are going to get with the Sigma 65mm f2. I really have to be far away, but again you really don't need this. You don't need this 85mm f1.8, because in my opinion you only need two lenses, Sigma 35mm f2 and Sigma 65mm f2 also. So let me see how much you need with the 85mm. Okay, 56. Okay, here we go. So now you can see, so now this is the 85mm equivalent. If you wanna use a Panasonic 85mm, this is what you are going to get. I'm that far away, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. So this is what you are going to get. I hope this help you to decide. But let's jump back to the full frame 20mm. Now we are at 80mm, and then now let me jump to the 20mm. 20mm is a wide difference, right? Before we was in the 85mm equivalent, now we are at 20mm. So I try my best to demonstrate to 20 to 85mm what lens you will need. So I hope this answered the question. Make sure to check out the Outing Journal, my online travel magazine, and click that subscribe button. Also let me know what kind of new content should I get. I'm going to get the Canon R6. I do not like the build quality. The build quality is quite bad. I really do not like it. I do not like the feel. I love the build quality of Canon 90D. In my opinion, the best camera ever built was Canon 90D. And after that, my Panasonic S5 very comfortable. But I love the compact lens, 50mm 1.8.